All right, let's dive into some chess history today. We're tackling the Immortal Game, a match so legendary it still has players buzzing centuries later.
Wow, yeah.
It all happened back in 1851 in London during, get this, the first ever international chess tournament.
Pretty cool.
Can you imagine? The world's best minds gathered, and amidst the formal rounds, two masters, Adolf Anderssen and Lionel Kieseritzky, play this informal game that becomes, well, the stuff of legends.
You know what's fascinating is it wasn't just about like one player beating another. The Immortal Game really encapsulates that spirit of the era, the romantic era of chess.
I've heard that term thrown around, but to be honest, I don't really get it. What does romantic era chess actually mean? It sounds more like poetry or something than like a battle of wits.
It's a great question. Think of it this way. During that time, chess wasn't just about like cold calculation and material advantage. It was seen as an art form.
Interesting.
Where bold attacks, daring sacrifices, beautiful combinations were prized.
Like a form of expression.
Exactly. It was. Yeah, almost like, imagine like a world where chess games were discussed with the same passion and fervor as like music or literature today.
Wow. So picture flamboyant moves, risks that make your jaw drop, and a checkmate so elegant it practically makes you weep.
Yeah, you got it. And that's exactly what Anderssen delivered in this game.
Awesome. Before we get to the fireworks, let's meet our duelists here. Tell me about Adolf Anderssen. He was like the reigning champ at the time, right?
Absolutely. Anderssen was considered the world's strongest player at the time.
Wow.
Known for this aggressive, almost like swashbuckling style, constantly pushing the attack, creating chaos on the board. It's no surprise he ultimately won the entire tournament.
So a real chess rock star. And what about his opponent, Lionel Kieseritzky? Was he just cannon fodder for Anderssen's, genius?
While not as celebrated as Anderssen, Kieseritzky was no slouch.
Oh.
I mean, he was a respected chess teacher, a master player in his own right, even authored several chess books.
Lingo.
You know, this particular game, however, kind of turned into a trial by fire for him.
That's an understatement.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so the stage is set, the tension is building.
Yeah.
How does this legendary match begin?
Well, the game kicks off with Anderssen playing white and opening with the King's Gambit. Now, this isn't your typical first move.
Right.
It's a bold, almost provocative choice.
For those of us who aren't chess grandmasters, explain the King's Gambit like you're talking to, like your grandma.
Imagine you're offering your opponent like a tempting piece of cake,
Uh-huh.
knowing full well it's a ruse to distract them while you grab the whole plate.
Sneaky.
The King's Gambit is kind of like that. You sacrifice a pawn early on, seemingly weakening your position. But your real aim is to rip open the board, gain control of the center, and force a much faster, more aggressive game.
So it's a calculated risk you're down upon, but hoping to gain a bigger advantage later on.
Precisely. And it was a particularly popular opening during the Romantic era, perfectly reflecting that aggressive, attacking spirit of the time.
And Anderssen, being Mr. Aggressive, I'm assuming he didn't hold back.
Oh, not at all. He embraced the spirit of the Gambit wholeheartedly. And this is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
We're not just talking about sacrificing a single pawn here. Anderssen goes on to sacrifice a knight, then a bishop.
Oh, my.
Then get this, both of his rooks.
Wait, hold up. Both rooks. I mean, I know I'm a novice here, but even I know rooks are heavy hitters.
Yeah.
That sounds like a recipe for disaster, not brilliance.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's exactly what makes this game so extraordinary. Most players, they would cling to their rooks for dear life.
I can imagine.
But remember, Anderssen wasn't playing for material advantage.
Okay.
He was playing for something much more subtle. He was playing for activity.
Activity. Okay, now you're just using chess jargon to make me feel like a pawn. Break it down for me.
Think of it like this. Imagine a battlefield where one army has more soldiers, but they're scattered, disorganized. The other army has fewer soldiers, but they're this well-trained unit, moving in sync, striking with coordinated force.
Yeah.
That's the essence of activity in chess. It's not about how many pieces you have. It's about how effectively they're positioned, how much pressure they can exert on your opponent.
So even with fewer pieces, your army, or I guess your chess pieces, can be more powerful if they're working together and controlling the board.
That's it, exactly. And that was Anderssen's genius.
Wow.
He understood that by sacrificing pieces, he could lure Kieseritzky's forces out of position, disrupt his defenses, and ultimately gain control of the board.
So he was basically saying, take my pieces, I dare you, but watch what happens next.
Exactly. And what happens next is a sequence of moves so stunning, so unexpected, that it earns this game the title Immortal.
This is where I imagine jaws start dropping all over that London tournament hall.
Right.
Lay it on us. What happens next in this chess spectacle?
Well, this is where we really get to the heart of the Immortal Game and where Anderssen's genius really shines through.
I'm still kind of reeling from that.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those moves that separates the good from the truly great in chess. And remember, like we were saying before, he was playing for activity, for control of the board, even at the cost of, material.
Okay, so the board's a mess. Kieseritzky's up a mountain of material. What happens next? Like, talk me through some of these mind-bending moves.
Okay, so let's rewind a bit, right? After Kieseritzky takes the second rook, he plays qd6, checking the white king. It looks really strong, almost decisive,
Yeah, I can only imagine most players would be sweating bullets at this point. Down that much material, king under attack.
Right. But Anderssen just coolly moves his king to f1. He's not afraid of the check. He's actually using it to develop his pieces even faster. Then he plays nf3, developing his knight and further activating his forces.
So he's not panicking. He's turning defense into attack. Even with, it's a seemingly crippled army.
Exactly. Anderssen's playing with this incredible energy, this relentless forward momentum. It's almost like a boxer who keeps dodging punches, waiting for that perfect moment to deliver the knockout blow.
I'm on the edge of my seat. So what is the knockout blow?
Well, after a few more exchanges, we arrive at the most famous, the most jaw-dropping move of the game. Anderssen, with only a few pieces left, sacrifices his queen.
The queen? No way. Come on, you're messing with me. No one, not even, the most die-hard romantic era player would just throw away their most powerful piece.
I swear it's true. He plays qxf7, offering his queen, to the chess gods or something. And what's even crazier, Kieseritzky, probably totally bewildered at this point, he takes the queen. It's like he can't resist this gift, this seemingly fatal blunder by Anderssen.
Oh, man, it's like a chess version of a Trojan horse. But I still don't get it. How can sacrificing your queen possibly lead to victory? That just defies all chess logic.
That's where Anderssen's genius goes beyond logic. Remember, he's been setting the stage this whole game, sacrificing pieces, activating his forces, forcing Kieseritzky's king further and further back. With the queen sacrifice, he forces the black king to d8. And from there, it's just this cascade of precise, unstoppable moves.
Okay, I need a play-by-play here. Paint me a picture of this final attack.
All right, so with the black king now exposed on d8, Anderssen plays b7 check. Kieseritzky's forced to block with his knight. Then Anderssen plays nd5, attacking the black queen and threatening checkmate. Kieseritzky, he must be in shock. He's completely trapped. There's nowhere for his king to... people weren't just witnessing a chess victory. They were witnessing the power of, creative vision, strategic risk-taking, thinking several steps ahead of your opponent.
I'm getting chills just thinking about it. So we've seen the moves, we've felt the drama, but what's the real takeaway from the Immortal Game? Why does it still matter to us today? Well, that's the big question, isn't it? And that's what we'll explore in the final. All right, welcome back to our deep dive into the Immortal Game. We've walked through the history, met the players, and relived some of those mind-blowing moves. But I'm curious, about the lasting impact. Why are we still talking about this chess match, over 170 years later?
Yeah, it's a great question. Sure, the game itself is thrilling, the sacrifices are wild, but the real staying power of the Immortal Game, I think, is in the ideas it embodies. It's like a testament to the power of creativity and the importance of looking beyond the obvious.
So it's not just about the chess moves themselves. It's about, a way of thinking.
Exactly. Anderssen really challenged conventional wisdom. He showed that sometimes, you have to be willing to let go of what seems valuable in the moment to achieve something truly exceptional.
Okay, I'm intrigued, but I need some concrete examples. How do we actually apply these Immortal Game principles to our own lives, off the chessboard?
Well, think about the idea of sacrifice. In the game, Anderssen gave up material to gain activity and control.
Right.
And in life, we might face similar choices.
Okay.
Sometimes we have to sacrifice immediate comfort or security, to pursue a bigger dream, to gain knowledge, or to build something and something really meaningful.
So it's like saying, I'm willing to give up some of my free time to like learn a new skill, or I'm going to invest my savings in this, startup, even though it's risky.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that true value doesn't always come in the most obvious package.
I like that. And another big theme in the Immortal Game was initiative. Anderssen was always on the attack, forcing his opponent to react. Does that translate off the chessboard as well?
Oh, absolutely. Think about it in any field, whether it's business, art, or even like personal relationships. The people who really make things happen are the ones who take initiative. They don't wait for permission or opportunity. They create it.
So it's about being proactive, not reactive.
Yeah.
It's about being the chess player, not the chess piece.
That's a great way to put it.
I try. And there's also that element of creativity in the Immortal Game, of like seeing possibilities where others just see limitations. Like Anderssen's moves, they were so unconventional, almost shocking, to his contemporaries. He wasn't playing by the usual rules, and that's what made him so brilliant.
Totally.
So the Immortal Game is telling us to question the status quo, to think outside the box.
It is. It's a call to challenge assumptions, to experiment, to find those innovative solutions that others might miss. It's about trusting your intuition, even when it leads you down an unconventional path.
I'm really starting to see why this game has resonated for so long. It's not just a chess match. It's like, it's a philosophy. It's an inspiration to be bold, to be creative, to take risks.
For sure. And it's a reminder that limitations are often self-imposed, Anderssen, he saw possibilities that others didn't, and he acted on them. So the Immortal Game is almost like a challenge to each of us.
I like it.
What bold move will you make? What seemingly impossible dream will you pursue?
That's a powerful thought to leave our listeners with. So if you want to feel inspired to challenge your own assumptions, I definitely encourage you to explore the Immortal Game further. There are so many resources available online. You can find the chess notation, which is kind of like a written record of the game, or even watch some animated recreations that bring the moves to life.
Yeah, it's definitely an experience that might just change the way you think, not just about chess, but about life itself.
And that's the beauty of a deep dive, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
We start with this single topic and end up exploring, the infinite possibilities of the human mind. So until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.